Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2018. We are making room for spirit tonight in our Spiritual Mastery for Lightworkers online master class. This is not only the first master class in the series of the year, but it is the first one in the series ever. So if you are on my Healer's Journey list on my website, Second Nature Healing, then you know that I've been offering weekly webinars for healers on their journey to help light their way, to help people tap a little bit more deeply into who they are and how to be in the world. And that format offered very little time for interaction. We kept it pretty tight on a half an hour to 40 minutes each time, but this webinar, this online masterclass, I hope will give us a little bit more opportunity for interaction, for discussion, and for some learning that will go beyond what I'm saying, and maybe we can learn from each other as well. I would really love that as a goal for us. So if you are here, I am Rosemary Levesque. I am Reiki Master, Shaman, and licensed spiritual healer, teaching a class now on spiritual mastery. So welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time. And this is a live call, of course. If you are listening to the recording, and you weren't able to be with us here tonight live, then that's totally fine. Please reach out to me and give me an email or a call. I would love to chat with you. Now, if you are here live tonight, live participants will receive an offer for a free gift for joining us on the call, and that will be offered at the end of the webinar, so I hope you can stay with us for the whole time. Expect time for meditation, for writing in your journal, asking questions, and becoming a part of a group of like-minded people who want to speak openly about their journey. I have discovered over the years, as I talk to clients who are in different parts of the world or even different parts of the United States, especially in the East Coast, by the way, they say to me, you know, I just can't talk to anybody about this. I feel like I'm all alone. And I said, you know, you're really not alone. You're just not talking to each other. So let's find an opportunity tonight to begin a conversation with each other, talking about spirituality and how you, as a light worker, see yourself in the world. Now, in the last part of the call, we'll discuss some next steps and a little bit about the Lightworkers curriculum for spiritual mastery. I would love some input on that from you as well. And I'll provide plenty of time for discussion and question and answer in our safe and sacred container for tonight. And we'll go about 90 minutes. And I'm hoping that we can do that, or maybe just a little bit shorter than that, because I know it's running a little late for some people. Are you ready? Okay. Good. Let's get started. So as participants in this class, we agree to honor the time and space for ourselves and for other participants. We're respectful of opinions and states of being for ourselves and for each other. We're all somewhere on the path, on our own journeys, and we come from different experiences, backgrounds, and different skills even. So let's all agree to be open right now, open, honest, and respectful of this confidential time. And we also honor your choice to be a listener and a silent participant. So even though I'm asking for discussion and participation, that's okay if you would like to be silent. So if you have unmuted yourself just for a moment, can you please affirm and agree with a yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good.
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. Me too. Yes. Wonderful. Now, let's take a moment to just relax. You know, the shoulders. Let the shoulders fall down away from your ears and connect for a moment with your breath. And feel your feet on the floor, if possible. I know it's late. I'm not going to be too sleepy about this on our meditation, but I would like you to just be here now in this moment. If you have any distractions going on around you, just sort of shut them down for a few minutes. Turn off your other distractions. And I call upon guides and teachers, beings of light and love, of 100% pure love and light, to be with us here tonight for this spiritual mastery class, for the greatest and highest good of all, with special intentions for supporting us on our journey as light workers, for helping to feed our soul, and to let go of all that does not serve us in this time, to honor the presence of each other, and to welcome other light workers on their journey as well. Thank you. Thank you for these blessings. You, because you are here tonight, are a light worker. And you want to make a difference in the world with your presence. You are, right? Your gifts and your calling to serve. So let's just take a moment now to reflect on yourself as a light worker. What does that mean to you? What does the term light worker mean to you? I'll give you a minute to make a few notes in your journal or on your paper that you have, and then we'll open the call for comments. So just take a minute and make a list of words perhaps, or write a sentence about what does it mean to be a light worker for you. Take another 10 seconds. Okay. What would you like to say about what you wrote down? Of course, these are the first things that come up to your mind. What does it mean to be a light worker to you? Would anybody care to share? You can unmute your line by pressing *6. A light worker is, or I, as a light worker, am. Okay, I have a few things. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, I can jump in real quick.
Sure.
I wrote down to spread love and light, to live authentically, to speak my truth, and to stay clean, clear, and connected.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing. You know, speaking truth is a very interesting comment, especially in these times, right? And especially in previous times, previous lifetimes, because some of us have felt persecuted for speaking our truth. Even in today's world, many people are persecuted for speaking their truth. And to be present and be authentic. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share? I like to think of light workers as being consciously aware. I think that's something you said as well. Sensitive would be also a characteristic of being a light worker. Very sensitive. Bringing your light to the world, whatever that is, whatever your gift is, your light to the world. And it really doesn't matter what profession you are in. Because light workers exist in many walks of life. Are there light workers who are grocery store clerks? Yeah. Are there light workers who are airplane pilots or soccer moms? Are there light workers who are on the other end of the phone working at the insurance company? Yeah. Yes. There are many light workers serving in many capacities because it isn't about what you do. It's more about who you are, right? Okay, so the main characteristic of light worker is to be in alignment with good, raising the vibration of the planet. Yes, we can do that as a collective consciousness. We can raise the vibration of the planet. So this month, this particular class, we're going to be talking about making room for spirit. And this is a topic that's very near and dear to me because I find that even in conversations that I have with people I know, some I know have been trained in Reiki, some I know who are, pretty spiritual, I still hear, oh, it's hard. It's so hard to, fill in the blank. It's hard. It takes a lot of work to accomplish that goal. And I just, as I said in my newsletter, I just hang my head because something being hard tells you something about what you're doing and the path you're on. So I'd like to suggest that we can actually make room for spirit and then find that things aren't quite so hard. So let's get started with that. And my comment about that is that we all hold on to so much stuff, and I don't necessarily mean physical stuff, but it could be physical stuff. We hold on to so much stuff that we sometimes feel lost, stuck, or even paralyzed, or in pain. In addition, the stuff can feel uncomfortable, like it doesn't belong to us, but we don't know what to do about it. And furthermore, sometimes we fail to acknowledge the energies pervading our thoughts, our choices, and our lifestyle is sticky. It's not our own. If this is sticky energy, it means it's not our own, but nonetheless, we have taken it onto our shoulders or in our body somewhere or in our mind, and we call it normal. We call it part of our existence to have that pain or that feeling that we have, that heaviness perhaps, or that anxiety perhaps, or the thoughts going through our heads, and that's our normal. And all that stuff really isn't in alignment necessarily with spirit. So let's talk about how we can clear that. And what we're going to do is try to discover ways to clear some of these unwanted energies to make room for spirit. So I have a few questions for you, and if you have your paper handy, go ahead and write down some answers or just meditate about it and remember. So question number 1. What do you notice about the closets in your home? Now just kind of mentally go through your home, your clothes closet, your linen closet perhaps, or your bathroom closet. Do you have closets in your garage or pantry? Wherever you have closets in your home, what do you notice about the closets in your home? Go ahead and write down a few things about that. Okay, question number 2. Now choose a closet to work with for this question. Just pick one of those closets. And what do you like about this closet and the contents of it? What do you like about the closet? While you're thinking about what you like about it, also notice what don't you like about that closet. or the contents of the closet. Okay, great. Now, question number 3. I'd like you to choose an item from the closet that draws your attention. Choose an item in there. What do you notice about this item? Is it useful? How does it make you feel? Whatever you want to write about that item that you have chosen from that closet. What do you notice about it, and how does it make you feel? Okay, great. Would anybody like to contribute any information about the closets in their home? What do you notice about the closets in your home?
So this is Brian, and I'll share. I chose my bedroom closet. I like it. It's big. What I don't like is I have too much stuff.
And then how did you determine that you had too much stuff?
Because it's packed full.
Okay, it's a big closet and it's packed.
And it's packed.
Okay, all right. So you're just measuring the volume then.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
The item that draws attention is I have a top shelf in my closet, and I have an antique Chinese checkers game that I can see every day, and it's something that my grandmother and I used to play when I was little. And it just brings me back to that childhood and that joy with my grandmother.
Interesting. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. So it makes you feel good because it recalls memories of your grandmother?
Yes.
Wonderful. And it's in your closet, huh?
It is. My closet's open, so there's no doors on it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. And it's on the top shelf.
It is.
Okay. Interesting. I'm just noticing these things. Thank you for sharing, Brianna. I appreciate that. Would anybody else like to share anything about their closets?
This is Sherry. Yeah, I would like to share that I have, my closet's pretty organized, but it needs to be rearranged. Like, I've noticed that it needs to be rearranged almost seasonally, sometimes every month. It depends on how much is going on. So I do that. I do that a lot. And it holds the clothes that I like. And one thing I don't like about it, though, is that it's dark. It's hard to see things in it. And it does hold what I'd like that it holds. That the thing that came to me was a certain shirt that I have that I feel is my style, and it's that I'm comfortable in it, and it's a nice color. It's just one of those things that comes to me when I think of one thing in my closet. My mind went to that. So.
Wonderful. Thank you. Very interesting. So a clothes closet is those. So we've had 2 clothes closets come forward now. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing. Thank you, Sherry. Would anybody else like to share?
I can share. This is Tony.
Hi, Tony.
So I'm currently living with my parents because I just returned to the U.S. So I'm living like my whole life in this one very small room. And so there are things that I'd like to be in a closet that don't fit in a closet because it's a small closet. And I've noticed that a lot of the stuff in it isn't even mine. And that there are things in it that I've never even worn, which kind of makes me sad thinking about it now. And because they're beautiful clothes that just have kind of tucked away, waiting for something special or something. I don't know. And the item that stuck out is this new pair of boots that I just got today that I love, 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 and can't wait to wear them.
That's exciting. Wonderful. I love the enthusiasm. Tony, thank you for sharing. So what was that all about? Why are we talking about closets? I thought this was a spiritual mastery class, right? So it's interesting that closets can be a metaphor for our beliefs, what we've learned, emotions we hold on to. And what appears to us in our physical reality is often a reflection of our spiritual reality. Cluttered or organized, things that are broken, don't fit, out of style, not used, or everything works. It fits. It looks good. It has a purpose. You see, so closets can be a metaphor, and they can be a reflection of actually how we are living our lives. A few years ago, when we were thinking of moving, we cleared out about 30 years of stuff from our house. And boy, did we empty it out. It took us a whole month of extra concentrated work to clear out 30 years of stuff from our house. Now, I got rid of stuff that I probably shouldn't have gotten rid of, but I did. And the energy in the whole house changed. We ended up not moving, by the way, but we did go through that process, and it was a very enlightening process. It was a relief. It was a letting go, and also a bringing in of new energy. And so if we look at ourselves here in our body, in our physical form, we have closets all over our body. We have chakras, we have joints, we have organs, we have parts of our physical body that are like closets for us. And the stuff that we store in the closet of our body can feel like it doesn't belong, like it doesn't fit, like it has an emotional value to it that either feels good or doesn't feel good. So you can use the experiment, the discussion we had with closets, and associate it with what have you embodied. So closets embody energy, and we embody energy. And so we are, in fact, embodied energy. So I'll ask you, what have you embodied? What have you put in your internal closets in your body that is kind of stuck there now? Imagine that the clothes closet that you were talking about, something doesn't fit, something doesn't belong. It, gee, I haven't worn it in a long time. I'm not rotating it out like Sherry is. And, it feels like, wow, something's stuck there, right? So if you do that exercise again later on your own, relate it to how the closets are in your body and see if there's something stuck there that you may not have been aware of. So what is sticky energy? Because that's really the focus of what we're going to be talking about. Sticky energy can be physical. It can be emotional or spiritual, and it might not be yours. Like Tony was talking about in her closet, it's a little closet, and some of it's not even hers, right? Do you have a closet in your body where you're holding on to something that's not even yours? Did somebody say something to you? Did you experience a traumatic event? Did you have an accident or a surgery? Are you burying feelings for something that it's not even yours and you're holding on to it in the closet in your body? And that is sticky energy. It is not a representation of who you truly are. Because you just told me you're light workers. You wrote down some characteristics of light workers, right? Conscious living, living in love and light, being an example, raising the vibration of the planet. You are light workers. But if you've got stuff in your closet, in the closet of your body, that is not useful, it's not part of you, it's not serving you, it's an emotion, it's a trauma, it's a pain, then it's really not a representation of who you truly are, right? It's out of alignment, in other words. So how would you describe those things that are in your body? Are they pleasant or are they not pleasant? Are they heavy or are they light? So you may be aware or maybe not even aware of sticky energy. And it might show up, this sticky energy rarely stays buried forever. It usually surfaces at some point. Something will trigger it, something will happen, and you'll feel this sticky energy at some point. It might show up as dis-ease or sleeplessness. It might show up as stress or feel like a burden. It might show up as pain or aches. It might be a loop of repeating patterns in relationships. So you might not feel it physically in your body, but it might be in your behavior pattern. You might have this sticky energy that makes you make the same choices every single time, whether it's a relationship or a job or a, whatever, lifestyle even. So I'm going to give you some examples. Statements, and I'd like you to just notice how you feel about these statements. All right? Your statement number 1. My mother had cancer. My sister had cancer. I know I'll get cancer too. It's just a matter of time. How do you feel about that statement? Would you like to comment, or would you like to just make a note on that?
Well, I just think it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, maybe.
And I know people who have done this. Yes. They've got their relatives, and they know they're going to get cancer, and I actually know one gal who that happened to, and she went ahead and had a preventative double mastectomy. Wow. Well, we know a movie star who does that too, right? Who did that. But I know somebody from years ago who did that before it became more well known. Here's another statement. I'm old, so I don't travel anymore. Does one have anything to do with the other? I'm old, so I don't travel anymore. How do you feel about that? What would you say to that person? Or just make a note, and we'll come back to it. Here's another statement. I'm poor. I've never had any money to speak of. No matter what I do, I can't seem to get ahead. Expenses keep popping up. Car repairs, braces for the kids, and then the dog got sick, so there's a big vet bill. Any thoughts on that one? I'm poor. Okay, the next one. It's just so hard to lose weight. I've tried so many diets, even alternatives like hypnotherapy and acupuncture, but nothing seems to work. Any thoughts on that one? Especially this time of year, I know that it seems to be a pretty popular thing to do to try to lose weight, right? But then there are people who say, it's just so hard to lose weight. I've tried everything. I can't do it.
I just think if you put negative stuff out there, you start to feel that, and then it just grows more and more.
Kind of like the stuff in your closet?
Yeah.
Right. Uh-huh. How about adding your own scenario? Would you like to think up something, either maybe you know somebody, you've heard a situation, or now as we're talking about this, something comes to your awareness and you can make a correlation between what the person is saying, feeling, doing, and what their reality is.
Well, I know of somebody who's always putting out negative comments about someone else, and they constantly do that. And I can see when they're talking to me what they're doing to cause that, and it's like this vicious cycle to me. They're putting it out there, they're getting it back. They're putting it out, they're not trying something different. They're putting out what they're getting back. They're putting out negative stuff themselves, and they don't even realize it.
They don't even realize it, right? There's that stuff in the back of the closet. And they don't even know it's there because it's so full. It's packed. And they're stuck in a loop. Yeah, that's an excellent example. Thank you, Sherry. Anybody else have an example? Or a question?
I've never been lucky in love. I guess it'll just never happen.
Ah, yes, about relationships, right? I've never been lucky in love. Interesting choice of words, lucky in love. I've never had a good relationship. I've never met somebody that really clicked and zinged with me. So, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Hasn't happened by now. Yeah. I'm too old for that. Good example. Thank you. Anything else? What else could get stuck in the closets? Where does this sticky energy come from? Well, sticky energy comes from many places and times. It's not just places, it's also times, it's situations. Your state of being could be one place sticky energy comes. If you are open, if you're absorbent, if you're unempowered or vulnerable, you know, if that closet is empty, boy, I'm going to fill it up, right? So you can do that with your own body too, with stuck energy. If you're the person who always says yes when people say, "Hey, can you do this for me? Can you go get that? Can you do this? Can you help me with that?" Or if you are the vulnerable one, if you're the one who is, how do I say this? If you're the one who, not that people go to, but people take advantage of, yeah, that's a state of being that can be an open book for sticky energy. Trauma. If you've had surgery, or if you've had a disease or an accident or an injury, or felt a loss or had grief, then that can bring sticky energy also. Because when you are in a state of trauma, your vibration is lower, and that makes you more open and vulnerable as well. Or perhaps it's your current alignment. You know, what are you doing these days? What are you working with a lot of people who have high needs? I know, Sherry, you're in that situation. Do you work in a hospice situation? Are you around a lot of people who are needy, and or maybe you're a teacher and you're around a lot of kids and parents and energies that are flying all over the place, a little distracting perhaps. And what are you aligned with? Are you aligned with peace, relaxation, and calming? Are you aligned with that? Or are you aligned with distraction and chaos? Are you aligned with sadness and feeling a loss? So it depends on what your alignment is too. It's not just who you are, it's also your behavior and your beliefs. But it's also, sticky energy can also come from karma, your history, or your story, karma, from past life experiences. What has your soul experienced in previous lifetimes, and what has your soul held on to that was not resolved or that was sticky in some way? Because your soul brings another element to your closet, maybe that top shelf even. And ancestral patterns. I've seen this before, and I've mentioned it on my other webinar. People who grew up in the same town, they've lived their whole life practically in the same town or even in the same house, and all their family members, they all have the same beliefs, the same traditions, the same practices, and some of that can be pretty sticky. If you have a certain way that things have always been done, maybe it's a cultural thing, or maybe it's just a family thing. If there's a certain way things have been done, a certain belief that you've always had, then that could be sticky too. The example I have with that is I went back to New Hampshire to visit family this past summer, and I swung by the house where I grew up, and I know the people who live there now. They were friends of mine, and I knew they grew up in a very poor neighborhood, broken down tenement neighborhood, and because I was able to help them finance the home to get started, they were able to actually move into the home and have a home instead of a tenement apartment. And when I drove by, I was just appalled to see that it was a lot broken down on the outside. And I thought, wow, boy, did it hit me home that some things don't change, right? Could they have upgraded? Could they have repaired? Could they have done something? I don't know. But the fact is that they didn't. And what these people grew up with still exists in that home and around the outside. It looked 100 years old, and it was 100 years old. So these learned behaviors, these practices and ways of being can also be sticky energy. Now, I have an example for you as well of a session that I did not too long ago where my right hand, before I could do anything else, my right hand was already pulsing right in the middle of the palm. I was feeling some pain, and it went right to the center of the small of her back, right in the lower lumbar area. And stuck in cement, couldn't move it. From my point of view, I just sensed an energy pulling through my hand, and there was some pain in the palm of my hand. Now, unknown to me, she had had an emergency hysterectomy some years ago after giving birth. And during the session, she felt pain in her lower back. And that was not a usual thing for her to feel. She never feels pain in her lower back, but she did when my hand was on her lower back. She never said anything to me during the session. She was quiet. She admits she didn't want to interrupt the session, even though she was uncomfortable and was feeling excruciating pain, is what she told me. And she adds a comment that at the time that this happened, there was something her father said to her that upset her. And I won't share with you what that was, but it upset her. And she admits to burying her feelings and moving on in order to care for the newborn and her older child. So she felt this lower back pain. Now, let's talk about this for a moment, okay? Because you as a light worker may come across a situation similar to this where there was sticky energy and you picked up on it. And it comes to you in some form. Either you know it or you feel it in your body, or it you might taste it or see it, or however it is that you receive information as a light worker. So notice that. Now, my question for you, might the pain in her back have something to do with her emergency surgery years ago? Could it? What chakra is involved? What chakra is that in the lower back? You can answer if you want to. And is this perhaps sticky energy? Now, what could be done to clear it? When she got up from the table, there was no pain in her back. She doesn't have back pain in any other situation. Was it my uncomfortable table, perhaps? I don't know, maybe. But there was something that came up for her, and she brought up the hysterectomy. That's the sacral chakra. What's in the sacral chakra? The womb, right? The womb is in the sacral chakra. She had a trauma. She had a surgery, an emergency surgery, at a time in her life when giving birth, supposedly a joyous occasion where you're bringing life into the world, she had something, a piece of her body ripped out of her, cut out of her, not ripped, cut out of her, and then she had to deal with it, bury it, so she could take care of her kids. And on top of it, her father had said something to her. Do you see what's going on here? Is there sticky energy for this person? Would anybody like to say anything about that? How could you help her clear it? Is there anything to be done to clear it? Gosh, it happened such a long time ago. Could anything be done to clear it? The pain came to her attention. It was detected in my hand. It came to my attention. Could it be cleared, or does she have to live with sticky energy? Can you clean your closet? Or do you have to live with all that stuff?
Would you work on that one chakra to clear it?
I did work on that one chakra, yes.
Did that help?
Yes, and we have more to do. We have a lot more work to do. I gave her some exercises that she could try on her own if she wanted to, or she could come back and we could work on it together at another time. So she has an opportunity to work on it herself with the exercises I gave her. But yes, her session actually involved a lot of clearing because that's what she asked for. That was part of her intention at the very beginning of the session. She wanted clearing. She wanted clarity. She thought it was going to be about something else, but it was about this instead. Isn't that interesting? Because the clarity she was asking for had nothing to do with her hysterectomy. It had nothing to do with the emotions she felt at the time that her child was born. And yet that's what came up. So why would you want to clear sticky energy? Why would she want to clear that sticky energy, whatever it is? We still have work to do on that. She does, at least, at the very least. She's the one who has to work on it. But if she chooses to work with me on it, why would she want to clear that sticky energy?
Because it may be holding her back.
Yeah, maybe holding her back. And there's so much more to the story. There's self-worth. There's feeling judged. There's, all kinds of aspects that people hold on to that we have no idea where they come from. We have no idea why we make the choices we make, except that maybe we believe something, or maybe that's the way we've always done it. And so sticky energy can be very, very subtle. She might not know why she was asking for clearing. And then this comes up. And what her father said to her comes up. Do you see where we're going with this? We're talking spiritual mastery class, right? This isn't something where you can just do a very simple Reiki session on somebody and wow, that's wonderful. They feel relaxed. They feel blessed. And of course, in Reiki, wonderful things happen. And nobody may even discover why they feel different or why they feel better, or maybe their whole life changes. That has happened too with a very simple, silent Reiki session. We're talking here in their spiritual mastery class about very big stuff being revealed, very big work, because the time is now. The time is very important right now for light workers to know this stuff and to know how to do this stuff and to be present and be conscious and be clear themselves, to have clean closets for ourselves so that we can do this work. So when we want to, of course we want to clear sticky energy. We want to clear old patterns and beliefs. We want to create space for new. And it isn't just emptying the closet and filling it up again. It isn't that. It's choosing what you're inviting to be in the closet. And that is spirit. Because we are physical manifestations of spirit. We're a free will planet, and we get to make our choices. We get to choose what goes in the closet, or we get to choose if we want to hold on to what's in the closet. And if we're holding on to stuff that isn't in alignment with being a light worker, isn't in alignment of who we truly are as spirit, physical manifestations of spirit, then it doesn't leave any room for spirit. So we want to clean out our closet. We want to be as clear as possible. And when we are as clear as possible, things begin to happen. When I go back to the wording about something being hard, it's so hard to lose weight. It takes a lot of work. It takes conscious effort. It takes, I know somebody who said this, it's hard work losing weight. And I just hung my head and I said, oh dear. Well, imagine for a moment that water is flowing. Water always finds the path of least resistance. It flows downhill, not uphill, right? It flows through crevices instead of flowing through rock, if possible. And if it has to go through rock, it chooses to go through softer rock or soil instead of hard rock. And of course, the sheer force of water, we know, can erode rock very easily. Look at our Grand Canyon. Look at our falls that we have. Water is very, very powerful. And it always finds the path of least resistance. It always takes the easy way. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing that water takes the easy way? And is it okay for people to take the easy way? Any thoughts on easy versus hard? Is this topic?
Really
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's really, in terms of easy versus hard, especially in relation to the way water wants to move, like through hard rock or softer rock, or maybe water wants to stay over the harder rock for longer periods of time, like, and maybe that's the easier way. Like, so I think it's more figuring out what's easy for each of us, and as individuals or as a collective, whatever the situation is, because, for example, what may seem really difficult to me is not for my friend, right? So, like, it's understanding that sometimes what the situation calls for might look like it's extra work when really it's not. So, like, thinking differently about what is challenging and understanding where you have the momentum as opposed to if it's easy, I guess. I think those words are making me feel like, yeah, it could be, because thinking of the way that water moves doesn't sound easy, right? Like going through the ground instead of going over the ground. Like, well, why would you do that? You know what I mean? But that's what's necessary. So you do, yeah. You know what? I think I'm thinking more in images than words, so it's harder to.
No, I get you. You pulled out some very important words. You talked about perception without saying the word perception. You know, one person's perception is different from another person's perception. My easy might be your hard, right? I get that a lot when I do my intuitive work, and people say to me, oh, I wish I could do what you do. It's so hard. Or I can't meditate. It's so hard to meditate, right? And I find it easy. So there is a perception, maybe even a little skill, right? Also motivation. You mentioned motivation. So where somebody is really motivated to do something, they're going to find it maybe a little easier because it's what they want, right? So the key piece here, putting it another way, is that whatever seems to come easily is what you're aligned with. It's all about alignment. If you are in alignment with something, if it's what you want, if it's important to you, if you love it, if you're passionate about it, if you're motivated, if you have a perception of it, if you're in alignment with that, it's going to be easy. If you are in, let's take the weight loss person just for a moment, okay? It's not always food that causes people to gain weight. It can be emotions, it could be trauma, it can be toxins. You know, there are lots of reasons for people to hold on to their weight. It could be a spiritual protection layer. You know, nobody will bother me if I'm fat. That's another piece of it. It's complex. It's not a simple thing. But a person who is in alignment with being overweight will be overweight. They're not in alignment with being healthy and fit and trim and, you know, all of those things. They're in alignment with the other. So if you're in alignment with something, then that's what's going to come more easily. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah? Okay. So it's not a matter of easy or hard. It's a matter of what are you in alignment with? Are you in alignment with the clutter in the closet, or are you in alignment with something that's cleared out so you have room for the good stuff? Are you in alignment with ease and grace? Are you in alignment with Spirit? Because Spirit works with ease and grace. That's how Spirit works. Spirit doesn't want us to be suffering. We're done with that. We don't have to suffer. We don't have to experience trauma. It doesn't have to be hard work to do something. It might be physically exhausting if you're trying to build muscle mass and you're going to the gym and you're exercising all the time. You might find it physically challenging, but you won't find it hard. You're going to find that you're in alignment with it. You're passionate about it. It feels good to you, so you're going to do that, and you will always do that. When you are in alignment with something, Spirit is acting through ease and grace, not through difficulty. So you could refer to these steps, if you break them down into doable steps, you can refer to them as divine timing. If something seems hard, like making $1 million this year might seem hard, right? That's a big mountain to climb. I can't do that. But what if you could do one little thing that you were in alignment with, that was easy, because it was spiritually satisfying for you? Could you do that? Yeah, you probably could. So if you break down what seems to be very big, seems to be very insurmountable, seems to be difficult in some way or hard, then change your perception, change your motivation, and come into alignment with ease and grace. Come into alignment with Spirit and find the spiritual nature of what you are trying to do. And then you will be in alignment with that. So for now, I'd like to do another very small meditation. I'd like you to choose some point of time or space on your journey that feels a little out there. I mentioned the mountain of $1 million or, whatever it is. What feels a little out there to you? Now, never mind if it feels hard or not, or achievable or not. And instead of thinking, oh, that'll never happen, I'll never have $1 million or be strong or healthy, be, do, or have, fill in the blank. Imagine instead what big thing you want. Doesn't matter, hard or easy, doesn't matter. What is the big thing that you want right now? Write it down. What do you want? Write it down. Does everybody have something written down? Yes? Good. Okay. If not, you can come back to it later. And just make a note. What is the big thing I want? Now close your eyes. Take out all those other distractions. And let your emotions be your guide in this meditation. Let your emotions be your guide. And once again, connect to your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your breath filling your lungs and embracing your heart. Kind of clearing out all the closets in your body with your breath. We call upon guides and teachers of 100% pure love and light, elements and spirit guides, animal guides, Mother Gaia, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Eagle, and Dragon, to be with us here today for this manifestation of our deepest desire, our most powerful longing and request. You are not alone You are guided and supported. You are empowered. You have the skills and tools you need, or you will develop these skills and achieve these tools. There are ample opportunities, time, and money to receive what you want. Your heart is open. Your ego has stepped aside. Now for a moment, feel, visualize, know, or sense in some way that you have cleared all the sticky energies. You've opened up all your closets in your body and in your auric field, in every chakra, every joint, every organ. All your closets are open and clear. Imagine that all the extra sticky stuff is gone. What will you now fill your space with? What will you do? How will your life be different? Take a moment to write a few words about your thoughts. What will you now fill the space with? What will you do? How will your life be different? I'll give you about a minute. Now go ahead and take a deep breath and feel gratitude for receiving these beautiful energies, for clearing the sticky energies and opening the possibilities and the opportunities, for receiving new energies, for making room for spirit. It is so much gratitude that we have for these moments and these thoughts and these feelings. And please know that you can come back to this meditation and this experience later. Your awareness becomes very important in this whole process, because the living day-to-day, as the client who had the hysterectomy, or the person with the weight problem, or whoever it is, when you're living day to day and you're just kind of doing your thing, you may not be aware that you have sticky energy. I will say that we all do. Me too. I have sticky energy. I'm still working on it, as we all are. Because if we were 100% pure love and light, we wouldn't be having sticky energy. We wouldn't be having this conversation. We would all be living in the fifth dimension. Game over, all done, right? But we're here on our journey. We are light workers, becoming more and being more of who we are. So if you are not aware of your sticky energy, you might not be aware that it would be a good idea to clean out your closet, to get rid of your sticky energy. And when you are holding on to sticky energy, it influences everything else you do. It influences your conversations. It influences your intentions for the day, the work you do, the energy work you do. It works on all of that. And so we might have buried it. We might have buried it in our joints, or like my client, in her lower back. We might be I can't speak now. I guess it's getting too late. We might be burying these emotions in our brain. It might feel foggy or thick or dark. It might feel painful. It might be that it gets triggered during certain situations, and that's when it might reveal itself. So your job here, if you're willing to do the work, and I put work in quotes, because remember, working with spirit means with ease and grace, right? That's how spiritual energy works, ease and grace. But if you're willing to do the work, in quotes, work, it's a job, it's a task, we become more confident and skilled. And we have a desire to clear this unwanted sticky energy and make changes in order to receive the gifts of spirit. So we're just going to start with awareness. Now, I said I'd give you some tools and skills, and of course there are many, many ways to begin to clear sticky energy, and this can be the topic of future master classes if you want. I'd love some feedback on that. But for now, just a few simple tools to get started. We've already done a little bit of it. The breath work that we're doing, establish a relationship with your breath to become consciously more aware of your control and intentions. When you breathe, are you in control of your inhale and your exhale? Most of the time, no, you're not aware. It's happening for you. So becoming aware of your breath and actually doing some breath work, some consciously inhaling and exhaling, can be very grounding. It can be very releasing. You can make your breath audible. You can make it vibrational. You can sing. There are lots of ways to do breath work that are very potent. So breath work is one of your tools. Grounding, feeling yourself connected to your physical body, because your physical body is the temple for spirit to dwell. That's where spirit wants to be. That's where spirit wants to show up. So if you take care of yourself, if you ground yourself, your self-care should include detoxification, it should include relaxation, choosing foods that are nourishing, and all of these things will clear a path for good, which is God. And the sticky energy doesn't stay unless it's supported by lower vibrations. So what are lower vibrations? Lower vibrations are negative thoughts, negative words, habits that don't serve you, closets that are full, things that you do or say that are not in alignment to spirit. And so if you are operating at a lower vibration, or if you allow lower vibrations to come in, that's where the sticky energy wants to live. Sticky energy has a lower vibration than spirit. And so when you come into alignment with higher vibrations, you're going to make it easier for spirit to live in your body, in your temple. So change the vibration of your environment and yourself, and that will make it, again, easy for spirit to dwell in you. Now that was a lot to cover in this short time. I do appreciate everybody being on the call tonight and participating in the way that you have. That means a lot to me. And if you're receiving this webinar as a recording, thank you also. And as we close the circle and the channel, I'd like to leave you with these thoughts and with this offer as promised. So thank you, guides and teachers, beings of love and light, animal guides and spirit guides of 100% pure love and light, for your support and wisdom for this spiritual mastery class tonight. May you be blessed, comforted, empowered, and at peace in all the wonderful light you bring to the world. And so it is. And here's the offer. I promised you an offer if you stayed with me. I'm giving away 3 one-hour free coaching sessions. So 1 hour with me of free coaching if you contact me, send me an email or call me directly after this webinar to set a phone appointment this week. So I'll take 3 appointments this week for free to you on coaching. We'll talk about what you want, and we'll set some goals, and we'll do some spiritual coaching. And then I'll be sending out a link to this recording as well. So if you're on my list through my website, through Second Nature Healing on the Healer's Journey, that link will arrive in your inbox as soon as possible. And otherwise, recordings may also be found on the freeconferencecall.com files for Second Nature Healing. You'll probably also see on that wall some of the webinars for the Healer's Journey, and they will be there for a period of time, and as we move through them, I'll take off the older ones. But all of them exist on YouTube and in my blog as well. So any closing comments before I turn off the recording? Would anybody like to say anything or ask a question? You can star 6 to unmute your line.
Thank you, Robin.
Are you there? Thank you. Thank you all for being here. If you can't hear me, maybe I can't hear you. So I just wanted to say thank you all for being here one more time. And I'm going to turn off the recording now.